my booties. Today's video is going to be all about up, up and away! Flights 5 to 21, which I have footage for. Some are pretty awful, but you can see how I progress to get better. I'm no instructor. I may give some explanation here. This is to the best of my understanding, just to help people out, make them think, make them learn by my mistakes. Just a quick shout out to Dave, who I fly with sometimes. He pointed out that I didn't really say "don't panic" in my previous video about hitting a shed. There was one guy who thought I was a complete fool. I wasn't trying to get the sport in a bad name. It was all about my journey and the fact, did I really want to censor it? And someone may actually learn from my stupid mistakes. Anyway, let's get on. Okay, so let's start with flight 6, which we saw at the start of this video. You can see here I brought the wing up quite nicely. And unfortunately we start to get a bit of oscillation as we take off. You can almost see there as I take off the wing is slightly over. It could be going up too much power, too much brakes, slightly off, sitting down too early. So many different reasons. Flight 5, I put flight 6 first because it was more cinematographic. And I thought it just looked better. So here's flight 5. At this distance it's hard to see really what's going on, but I think the wings are quite nice and stable. But, you know, I'm probably pulling too much brake, or it looks like I'm actually pulling brake to the right now, which possibly starts the oscillation off. Could be also the torque, I suppose, if I pull down the right riser. And now flight 7, reverse launch, bringing it up, turning pretty quickly here. There we go, nicely turned. And this is just after Chilli had told me, you know, stop thinking about it all too much. Treat everyone as ground handling. Take the pressure out of taking off. And as you can see here, I'm gently increasing the throttle this time. Taking everything nice and steady. It's not a race. And you can see, taking off a little bit of rocking there, but nothing too bad. You can see there we're climbing out, turning into a right-hand circuit. Now this was going to be, I think, flight 9. And I'd set up for a forward launch, and the wind changed by 30 degrees, which was actually pointing at the clubhouse, which you can see further on down the lane there. There were several people watching it, though, so I pulled the wing up. Yeah. It came up and compensated for it. I just thought, hang on, I'm heading towards cars and various people, so I just aborted.
No, careful, kill your engine, turn. That's it. You could have got that, was
nice. Which is a shame, really, because I've done ground handling, I could have managed that quite easily. So now flight 10. There's Dave standing in the front there watching me eagerly. And a bit of a forward launch and sat down a little bit too early, possibly causing a little bit of an oscillation again there. So now flight 13, as you can see, it's a nice grey day, low overcast. It's probably sometime in November or something. And Chilli, my instructor, said you can learn a hell of a lot from people doing the right things or the wrong things, just watching them. And I've seen a lot of reverse launches where people just turn around too quickly and off they go, and they're not ready underneath everything. And this one, you can see there, the wing came up slightly wrong, not quite into wind, but we recovered it. It's all about feeling it, feeling where it's going, and unfortunately I say that and then I sat down far too early and the whole thing swung and started to swing again, another oscillation. So then we got flight 18, bringing it up here. Nice forward launch. Things are getting smoother, things are starting to work, I'm beginning to feel it. Things are going right for me now. Flight 19, this was slightly gusty conditions, and this was a really good flight because it was the first time I'd kind of flown in gusty conditions. I'd actually gone up to about 2,000 feet once and been rocked and just went, I don't really like this. But this flight, and actually we're finessing it quite nicely there. Just feeling it. I'm looking at the wing, I shouldn't be looking at the wing, I should be focusing on the point. Sat down again a bit too early, or maybe it's that harness. Now flight 20. Here we go, nice forward launch. Into wind, hopefully. But aha. Up comes the wing. We're slightly off wind here, so we learn to feel it, and it's a bit like being a Jedi Knight, I guess. Feeling it. Move back underneath it, a bit of left brake, Getting a little bit of an oscillation, but we recovered that. Fine, not a problem. Which brings us to flight 21. Forward launch, up she comes. Gone a slight bit to the right. Nice, nice. Moved underneath it, directly underneath it. Now give it power. Now give it power. And up we go, nice and smoothly this time. Really beginning to nail it. Although you'd like to think so, wouldn't you? Because as soon as I looked up at my risers, I realised my right risers was completely twisted. So this is flight 23, reverse launch here, bringing it up, looking at the wing, stabilising it, turning, starting to collapse a little bit there, recovering it, moving underneath it, and any second now, we're happy with it, we smoothly throttle away. Oh, we take off into the air, satisfying moment. Fantastic, look at that. So here we are, flight 24, bringing the wing up nicely, reverse launch, and we've turned around pretty quickly. We haven't stood there dawdling. Turn around, give it some gas, just gently. Oh, and another nice takeoff. Getting better, everything's coming together fabulously. So here's flight 25, reverse launch, nice, nice, coming up, turning quickly, keeping the momentum going, slightly finessing it, just moving forward, still do with angling that prop back better, but again, maybe the new harness would make a hell of a lot of difference, which we shall see in the future. And off we go into the air. What a beautiful day, look at that, sun's beginning to set and everything. Flight 26. Flight 26. I think this was a forward launch. Made a bit of a mistake here because I left my trims partially out. If I pulled the trims in, I'd give me more lift. And there was no wind. I just ran, or seemed to run, the entirety of the airfield. And not being the fittest of guys, by the time I got to the end and took off, I was absolutely exhausted. And then I tried to get in a seat, and because I've got all this winter gear on, I was in a medium harness again. Oh, I was just like, Jesus Christ, how did I get in the bloody thing? In conclusion, what did we learn? Okay, firstly I'd say is good training. You can't substitute good training. Also, you know, this is a dangerous sport. You do something wrong, you could lose an arm or a leg or something in the prop and whatever. Just basic skills, simple skills about engine management. I mean, you could read books like this. This is Jeff Goins' The Bible, the Paramotor's Guide to the Bible, sort of, anyway. He also does a set of DVDs which talk about advanced handling and landing and takeoff. Although they're ground training, you can't spend enough time ground training. I seem to spend, I think, a whole working week ground training and still, you know, flunk God knows how many launches. Although I think a lot of it is brain overload, and once your brain gets used to it, it just bloody works, you know. Chilli, our instructor, teaches us to feel it. Don't look at the wing, you can feel the wing. You should be able to really ground train with your eyes closed. And also, I see a lot of people ground training, they just go up and down in straight lines. That's all very well, but that ain't going to help you, is it? I mean, pick a point, you know, put some obstacles about and say, right, I'm going to go left, right and round these obstacles. Or you can do it even just looking at grass. You could say, oh look, there's a dandelion about 12 foot to my right. I'm going to go 12 foot on the right, round that dandelion, and then, oh, there's a stinging nettle or some, you know, some mark in the ground. Just pick out points and try and work your way down the field around them. Brain overload was one of my biggest problems. Gloves in the winter, the gloves losing dexterity made it very difficult. In actual fact, these gloves here, they do have an elastic on them, which is quite nice. You can attach that to there, and I actually put some elastic bands around my arms, so that kind of held them to my arms so they didn't flap around and get in the way. And then when I took off, I could then put the gloves on to keep my little handies warm. Of course, relaxing, I got just so dismayed about the fact I couldn't take off. I remember one day just sitting down and having a few tears after putting my paramotor out and trying to walk across the field with it and coming back, I got all my winter gear on. I was sweating buckets by the time I came back, and I sat down, I just had a few tears, and I thought, I'm never going to crack this. It's just not going to happen. So my instructor said to me, you know, just relax, just treat everything like you do ground training. Just bring up the wing, get the end, have the engine on, do everything right, feel it. Don't have that pressure that I've got to take off. Just feel it, and if it's right, then go. And that did me wonders, just relaxing a little bit. And of course, always advisable to have a spare prop. Down below I'm going to link a video to Aviator, who are in Florida. They did an excellent hour-and-a-half YouTube video about, wow, the basics really. And this agrees completely with what my instructor taught me. And the number of times I've watched it over and over again to just go through it and get it in my head. I am a fairly intelligent person. I program computers for a living, but I don't know what's wrong with part of my brain. Maybe it's too much alcohol and drugs at an early age. But yeah, that may help people out. So check out the description below. There's also loads of other videos I've made on there also. And another point, it's great to have a GoPro or something sitting on the ground so you can analyse the footage of what went wrong if it does go wrong. Chilli, my instructor, said just sitting and watching other people cock up, or good people, but probably you can actually learn by more cock-ups, watching other people fail. And it's a shame really I haven't got more footage of me failing actually in here. I don't mind people laughing at me, as you can see. Why would I be wearing a helmet with "I'm slow" on it? If only we could all be in a beach in Florida with nice laminar winds, then we could fly very easily and make ourselves look wonderful.